Well, I'm here with Cesar Ayala from O'Connell Landscape and Maintenance. Thank you for joining me today, Cesar.
Thanks.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, let's get into your path into fleet. How did you land as fleet manager for O'Connell Landscape Maintenance?
I've been in fleet for quite some time, actually. I did the military version of fleet, I guess you'd call it. I was in the Marine Corps for over 20 years, and my job was motor transportation, so I dealt with trucks. A little history behind O'Connell. My pops worked there for 40 plus years. My uncle worked there for over 40 years. When I retired from the Marine Corps, I had got a phone call, started talking, and a few weeks later I had a job. So I just transitioned from military to civilian fleet.
So what was that transition like when you're, what are the differences? Let's put it that way. I can see the similarities. You got to maintain the vehicles, you have to, make sure the drivers are safe, but what are the differences?
My hardest transition was dealing with people. Military background, it's more of a directive approach, like very directed.
Yeah, right.
So that doesn't work very well on this side of the fence.
Right.
So I had to learn how to sharpen up my people skills, number one. I'm really big on pushing production. That's just been a thing of mine for a long time. So on the civilian side, you're working an 8-hour workday and have to take the breaks. I'm not used to that, you know what I mean? So that was super hard for me to understand, because guys would be working, and then come lunchtime, they stop what they're doing and take lunch.
Right.
And it's like, I'm not used to that. I was so used to, we're going to push until the work is done. And that's kind of the way it used to be for me.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, tell us about the fleet and tell us about O'Connell in terms of, it's a fairly large size landscaping company, right?
Yeah, we're pretty big. We operate all around Southern California. So as far north as, LA, the Carson area, Hesperia, like Apple Valley, as far east as like Indio, Cathedral City, so in the desert, and all throughout Orange County. I have roughly like 460 something vehicles, plus trailers and equipment. So yeah, it's a big, it's a decent size fleet. It's pretty large.
What's your bread and butter, like 3/4 ton pickups type thing, or?
It's very diverse. So I have anything from Nissan Sentras to, I have 3 Freightliner M2s, for our tree division. So our major bread and butter are 3/4 tons and, 1 tons for chipper bodies, dump trucks, stuff like that. So that's kind of where our sweet spot.
Great. Are you in a leasing program, or how are you,
All our vehicles are bought outright. So
really?
The company owns every single asset. It's still run very much like a small business, in my opinion. The original owner is still very much involved in the organization, which is awesome. Yeah. So yeah, there's no lease. We buy them and we use them until we can't use them anymore. Okay, right.
Do you have, is it through dealers, or do you go direct to the OEM's sales reps?
We have partnerships with dealerships, so we go straight through a dealer. So that's how we get our vehicles, and that's how we acquire them. So my fleet's mainly Ford. So and our corporate office is in Santa Margarita. So Santa Margarita Ford is our go-to. And that's normally where all our trucks come from.
I bet they owe you a debt of gratitude for all the work that you throw them and all the trucks that run through them. Yeah, and great pricing too.
100%. No, we do well. We even with the rise of prices and vehicles. I'm going on 3 years at O'Connell. Yeah, and I've seen a price increase since when I started in 2023. Right, so they do work with us. You know what I mean? And it's
when they can.
When they can, yeah.
Yeah, so let's just real quick on maintenance. Do you have any internal maintenance shops, or are you using dealerships for that, or what?
So we do, I want to say at least 80% of the maintenance in-house. Like, we're all spread out SoCal, but I have 7 different shops where I conduct maintenance. I have 20 mechanics that work for me, so internal maintenance is our bread and butter. That's what we try to focus on, because we know our trucks, we know our assets, and we could keep them rolling. But there's some times where I need to sit there and analyze what I got, my workflow, and we don't want downtime, so I need to figure out. Sometimes I have to outsource. I try not to, but there's times where I have no choice but to outsource. I'm really big on warranties, so I will exploit any warranty at all costs. That way, it alleviates my guys putting their hands on it and a price tag for me.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you ever get any warranty love if it's a few thousand miles outside, and I know they've been clamping down on that recently. So.
I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but it's Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Have you shortened your? I mean, let's put it this way: an F-250, F-350. Can you run them out to 175,000 miles? I mean, you know.
You know, with proper maintenance, yes. I have an F-250 sitting in my yard right now. It's a gas truck. It doesn't really go out the yard anymore, but it's sitting at 400,000 miles.
Wow.
With the original engine, the original transmission. So the guys that have that we have are mechanics.
Yeah.
They're pretty skilled. They can keep a truck running, I'll tell you that.
You
And
know,
we're compliant, so.
Yeah, I mean, maintenance is such a hassle right now, and I guess having maintenance on site. Are your mechanics? Have they been with you for a while?
Yeah, all the mechanics that are currently employed, hell, some of them even remember working with my dad. You know what I mean? And, you know, my dad's been retired for a few years, so
Right.
they've been there for a long time, so they're invested in the organization, I would say. So they give it their heart and soul.
Yeah. So would that be the sort of the insulation to? I mean, like parts prices have gone through the roof. I mean, like and delays in servicing vehicles. With your in-house mechanics, that is a little bit of a hedge against what other folks are having to deal with when they're having to go drop their vehicles off at the dealership.
100%. I like to keep. I do keep a shop stock of, like, you know, basic items: oil filters, air filters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have my bulk oil, so I have what I need to service my assets at, you know, readily available, and I maintain a tight inventory so that way I can continue to order when, you know, when I fall below I establish a threshold, right? When I drop below a certain amount, I reorder so I can maintain that. Like I said, I'm really big on exploiting warranties, so education is huge, I think, with drivers. Tires don't go bad overnight, and neither do brakes. That's like a big thing for me. So I exploit a lot of warranties with, like, brakes. We do work a lot with, you know, local auto parts stores, so that's where we get a lot of our parts. And I do have a really close relationship with my fleet's primarily Ford, so I have a good working relationship with Ford. So I do run into situations where, you know, they're on back order or whatnot. That's inevitable. Mm-hmm. But I think we have a pretty good network where I can source parts when I need them.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Hey, how do you keep those drivers safe? Do you have a program or?
Well, it's funny you bring that up. So when I started there, there was, you know, minimal training, you know, at the supervisor level. We do conduct, you know, monthly trainings. You know, our safety manager is very involved. Last year, I implemented a driver training program to where all our policies are in place already. I just took it out from, like, essentially our employee handbook, you know, and just added to it, made it, you know, more legible and more understandable. Added diagrams, you know, and I even made a statement of understanding. So each driver understands their requirements and their expectation. They sign it, I sign it. It goes in their employee file. So, you know, we just implemented that last year. I took that project, and I'm literally going to every single one of my yards, every single location.
Wow.
So this first iteration I'm completing, and then from there it'll be an annual requirement, but on the, you know, their supervisor level, to conduct annual training. So, you know, knock on wood, but so far so good. That's just something we brought awareness to them.
Yeah, it's really just bringing awareness. Hey, we're watching you. We care for you. We want you to be safe, and that's hopefully going to have some less accidents and less problems, I guess.
No, 100%. And that's the message, right? You know, it's for your own good, and I try to give them the big picture, right? Like, minimizing accidents, it's going to, you know, cause, you know, more effects down the line. So,
absolutely.
You know, if we can avoid that cost, newer trucks, better equipment, better pay raises, right? You got to get them where they really care.
Yeah, right. Be more efficient. The bottom line goes to you as well. You know,
100%.
the drivers. Yeah. Well, in that regard, as I understand, you don't have telematics.
I do not.
Right now. Okay. Are you thinking about it?
I am.
Yeah.
That's actually why I'm kind of exploring options at these different trade shows.
Okay.
We don't have a set timeline yet.
Yeah.
But it is on our radar. It is on, you know, it's made it up on the importance list, right, at the organization. So, you know, we're just searching for the right, you know, partner that's going to help us out. You know, because it's a lot. I'm in California, so compliance is huge.
Compliance is a big thing. Yeah.
So I'm chasing carb, essentially, something that can help me with carb.
Yeah. So that was sort of a number one thing for, you know, staying compliant. But let me ask you, I mean, have you thought about other aspects of telematics, maybe from certainly a visibility standpoint? Are the drivers taking home the vehicles?
We have a percentage of vehicles that do go home, not all.
Okay.
Majority of our assets stay, secured at our facilities, at our yards throughout our, our
Yeah.
area of operation, essentially, right where we work. A lot of our vehicles stay on the job site because, we're strategically located where our jobs are. But there's some vehicles that do go home, so that raises concern, right? So that's another reason why we're looking at telematics,
Yeah.
GPS,
Yep.
camera, right?
Yep.
Their safety
Yep.
and understanding where the vehicle's at, and preventing misuse, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. Are the vehicles branded with O'Connell?
They are. They have a big
Yeah.
flower on the side and O'Connell right down the side, so you can spot
Okay.
them a mile away.
You talk to fleet managers and they'll tell you branded vehicles, opportunity for, dollars if there's a crash, and certainly a telematics system could really help there.
Yeah, definitely, and that's why we're
Yeah.
exploring options. I've talked to a few companies. I've talked to Lytix, I've talked to Samsara, Azuga, and I'm talking to Geotab,
Yep.
right? So I'm in the space, right? And I'm
Yeah,
just
great.
I'm just exploring my options on where I'm going to get the most bang for my buck.
Sure. Well, sort of last question on what's the biggest thing that's keeping you up in 2026?
Compliance,
Compliance.
100% between
Okay, really?
between CARB and I work in Southern California, so
Yeah.
my majority of my guys are primarily Spanish speakers. So this new ELP, so the English language proficiency is that's a big educational piece for all our drivers right now.
Yeah.
Because they've gotten comfortable right over the years, and now the English language proficiency is big. They can get cited for it. Trucks can get taken off the road, out of service.
Oh,
so
right.
it's a big deal. Commercial enforcement, and then CARB, clean truck checks, dealing with CARB,
Truck checks.
and staying compliant with CARB.
Yeah. So basically, they're checking and making sure that the engine smog is up.
Yes,
yeah.
it's gasoline is pretty much normal every 2 years, nothing out of the norm.
Yeah.
But in recent years, diesels. So
Yeah.
that's 2 checks a year right now. So it's
Okay.
and you got to stay compliant because fines can get pretty hefty.
Yeah, got it. Well, Cesar, thanks for joining us today. This was great.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.